Welcome to Care Sandwich, the podcast where we dive into the success journeys of law firm owners across the country. I'm Margarita Everline, your host and the founder of Marketing Boss, a fractional chief marketing officer firm for law firms. On this show, we'll explore the challenges, strategies, and victories that have shaped law firms and how they wrap every interaction with care. Because we believe that caring isn't just a value, it's a strategy for success. So grab your favorite sandwich, sit back, and let's dig into a conversation filled with insight, inspiration, and of course, a lot of care. Hello, everyone. I am so excited to welcome Megan Whiteside. She practices personal injury with a very interesting specialty. Megan, tell our audience about your law firm and who you help and how you do it.
First of all, thank you so much for having me. It's such a pleasure to be here. I focus on nursing home abuse and neglect. So my focus is on helping families who have had loved ones who've been mistreated in nursing homes, who have unfortunately passed away. So it's an extremely traumatic experience, and they don't realize that there's something that you can do to hold the nursing homes accountable.
So personal injury is such an interesting area where I'm used to all over the country hearing about personal injury, auto accidents, or even workers' compensation, slip and falls. How did you end up with this unique practice area?
Kind of on accident. So I know
Pun intended?
That's right. I was, I've done all sorts of plaintiff's work, car crashes, slip and falls, medical negligence. I actually started my career doing med mal defense. Don't hate me, but you got to learn that's not for you.
We all make mistakes.
We all make mistakes. And I was working at a volume-based auto practice, and it just was going nowhere fast. And I was at a point where I had 2 children, young kids, trying cases. On paper, it all looks good. Like I have what I want. I'm trying cases. I'm working hard. I've got the family. And I think that a lot of people can relate to when you just feel stuck. And so I started going to, this was during COVID, started going to Zoom meetings with bar associations and women's caucus events in particular for my local justice association, and just met somebody whose firm was looking for someone who could step into this role in nursing home abuse and neglect, who could take expert depositions and work up cases and really come in at a higher level. They hadn't had luck hiring younger associates because they got to train them up. I had been practicing for a long time. So it was the most interesting hiring experience. It was very non-traditional, casual, and I landed this job, and they basically said, we'll teach you how to work up a nursing home case. And they really gave me a gift in doing that. They needed somebody who could just hit the ground running. And so it was a win-win.
And so earlier, before we started recording, we were chit-chatting a little bit, and I would love for you to tell us, how did you connect with the cause behind that practice area?
Yes. So it was the first time in my law practice that I found I really had a fire in my belly for these cases. I love plaintiff's work and I love helping people and I love trying cases, but what I didn't realize, it's like you don't know what you don't know. And once I started working on these cases, I realized the way that we treat our elderly in our society really bothers me. And I've got young babies, and they're totally dependent. They're vulnerable. They have poor safety awareness, like the toddlers that run out into traffic, right? They need you to feed them and clothe them and bathe them. Well, that's what happens at the end of life. And we have these elderly people in nursing homes who are totally dependent, who have dementia and poor safety awareness, some of them whom need complete and total care for feeding and clothing and bathing and changing. And in these nursing homes, they're mistreated and they're forgotten. And so many families lose loved ones, and they have a sense that something's not right and they're not getting answers. And they don't realize that there are lawyers out there who will investigate and will hold the nursing homes accountable. Because if what the nursing homes do to elderly, if parents or caretakers or babysitters or daycares did that to babies, everybody would be outraged, would be on the news. And so for me, if I can shine a light into that darkness, if I can make a small impact in maybe changing the way that some of the facilities treat their people, if I can make that small impact, that's the kind of drive that makes the long hours not seem as long.
And the elderly population, they're the victims of this abuse. How do the cases get to you? I imagine they're not calling you directly. How do you find out? How do you get involved?
Yeah. So it was a little bit different when I was at a larger firm, but in the last year and a half, I've started my own. And that was really intentional for both personal and professional reasons. And so now all of my cases come through attorney referrals. And what I've realized is that this network of lawyers, we're all here to help people, but we all have different talents and different passions. And so really actually by carving out such a very narrow niche, right? I investigate nursing home abuse and neglect. Those are my cases. I will work them up from start to finish. I love trying cases. And so folks will get intakes on nursing home cases, and a lot of people just see them as low value med mal cases. Oh, the person's 82. How long was their life expectancy? How am I going to make a case out of this? And what people don't realize is that it's a mindset shift. The way you frame the case is entirely different than a med mal case that you would do for an injured 30-year-old, right? Who's got a life expectancy and wage loss and all of the things, right? So either a young person who's alive and has been a victim of medical negligence, or a young person who's died and there's a wrongful death claim, lawyers will go, oh, that's a big case. Or a birth injury case, that's a big case. But really, they're shortchanging these folks, even with a diminished life expectancy. Maybe somebody has only a few years left to live. That doesn't mean that they get to die in pain alone in these really horrible circumstances. All of us deserve to live and die with dignity. And I think that if I can be the one that lawyers go, oh, okay, well, this nursing home case sounds like there's something, let me have them call Megan. And I can talk to families and know the questions and know the things to sort of navigate the case. It's a really, really fulfilling practice.
This is really fascinating. So walk us through, how do you frame the case? How do you frame the narrative around these cases? If there's a way to kind of summarize, I'm sure every case is different, but
most nursing home cases are systems failure cases.
Okay.
So it's really more like a business case than a traditional PI case. Right? So traditional PI, you think of single event, there's one negligent act and one injury, right? Someone runs a red light and T-bones somebody. It's a one act. What happens in a nursing home case is it's a systematic failure, shift after shift, day after day. So at a nursing home, there's 24-hour care, right? Because folks go to nursing homes very sick. And so what happens is there's a breakdown in communication, a breakdown in planning, and really a lack of care. And the nurses, shift after shift, day after day, are letting what would be a small problem develop into a massive, painful, horrible problem. And so when you sort of dive into these cases, instead of seeing it just as where's the one event, there's not one event. This is a failure over time, and you build the case that way. Really, juries are horrified. There were so many days, so many shifts, so many people who could have made this right. And usually it's not the care providers that are trying to do anything wrong.
Right.
They're usually set up by these corporations with way too many people to take care of. And so you give these care providers horrible pay, horrible working conditions, way too many sick people to take care of, and people get hurt.
Oh my gosh. So I'm just remembering last year around this time, this wasn't a nursing home thing, but I can see what you're talking about. I kind of lived it with my mom. My mom lives in California, and she was at a hospital, and thank God that we have a very close family. So like my dad, my sister, everybody would take turns to go check in on her, take her snacks or whatever. But I remember her telling me that like other people that didn't have family like that, like sometimes they needed to go to the bathroom or like whatever, and there was like no one. And not only that, the nurses would get upset because they were busy, and why are you interrupting me? And I remember in the back of my mind, I thought, Mom, they're probably underpaid. They're probably stressed out. They probably have too many patients. Like, so this is like, oh my gosh, like this even happens like in like in medical facilities, like not even just, do you also handle those cases as well?
I don't, but I know lawyers that do. And it's, for a lot of complicated reasons, there are specific standards and regulations that apply to nursing homes that are a little different than other settings, but the themes are the same. Folks are understaffed.
Yeah.
And that's really a corporate decision, a money decision.
Right.
And so in these nursing home cases, you find that the people who own the nursing homes are making millions. And these poor nurses' aides who are taking care of 20 plus people at a time are making pennies.
Right.
And they're not set up for success, and the elderly are getting hurt. And too many times it's swept under the rug. Oh, they're hoping the families will just think they were old and they were going to die soon anyway. But some of them just go through a horrible time at the end of their lives, and no one deserves to die that way.
Wow. So in all of this, I could imagine some days are hard. Like even with me telling you about my mom, like I saw your eyes and I was like, oh my God. This is very real and very personal for you and a very sensitive. How in the world do you process these stories that because like I was talking to a civil rights attorney, for example, that has to look at videos and like how do you cope with that part of your practice area? Like how do you protect yourself, your emotions, like not, because you see some of the ugliest things in humans. like how do you stay so nice? Like the moment I met you, when was it? Like
a few weeks ago.
Yeah, a few weeks ago. We met at a women's conference, and I remember
we had
noticing
a lot of fun.
Big smiles, like happy person, and I'm like, oh, I like her energy. She's got some light around her. I'm gonna go talk to her. And how, like, and doing what you do, like, give us some advice. The rest of us mortals that don't know how to handle, still stay.
Well, first of all, thank you for those kind words. That means a lot. I think some of it is how I'm wired, and then some of it has been a very intentional personal development journey. So I will say I am wired to be a sunny side up type of person. I'm optimistic. I'm always charging forward, with a positive outlook. I always think I can win. You prepare for the worst, but you fight for the best.
Of course.
So I think some of that's hardwired, but I think that I've gotten a lot better at this since becoming a mom, because you don't know how much you're capable of until you don't have another choice.
Oh, I can relate to that.
Yes. And so I think I've learned skills. I've got 4 little ones. We were talking about, before we hit record, when you have a whole bunch of children, you have a lot on your plate. But
yeah, my parenting advice, right? Lower your standards.
I agree.
And you're like, ditto. Yes.
No, but I think that what I've gotten really intentional about in my parenting journey is how can I teach these children what I don't know? So I've done a lot of work on myself to show up how I want to for them. And then it's had so many benefits in my law career. I mean,
it shows up all around.
Yes, I'm such a better lawyer. I'm a better boss. I'm better at everything, I think, since struggling with those early days of parenthood when you're trying to grapple with that new identity.
Right.
And taking care of a little person and helping.
Or when you're
grow.
Sleep deprived and don't know where the water is.
Yes.
Yeah. Can't find the bathroom in your own house.
All of it. But I think that I've tapped into a level of connection and compassion and just the heart that my kids have brought out of me, that my clients then benefit from. And the law school and the lawyer training in the years before I had kids helped me to work on compartmentalizing. So it's sort of like a combination of skills over time. I don't think I was very good at compartmentalizing early in my career, and I would get, I'd be worked up and upset about what opposing counsel would do, and I would be, sad about what happened to my clients and all of the things. And it may sound cold now, but I can turn it off when my kids need me, and I need to put my clients' trauma aside. But then when it's my client's turn, they're at the forefront.
So wait, you're saying that having children not only did not destroy your legal career, but it made you a better attorney.
It's absolutely an asset.
Hey there, I hope you're enjoying the conversation and your sandwich as much as we are. I want to take a moment to share a few words about our sponsor, Marketing Boss. If you're a law firm owner looking to supercharge your growth, our team at Marketing Boss is here to help. We've got over a decade of experience and a proven track record, and we specialize in growing law firms like yours with data-driven marketing leadership. So if you own a law firm and you're ready to get a predictable, steady flow of cases from your marketing, let's connect at marketing-boss.com. That's amazing.
And I'm on a mission to amplify lawyer moms. I love interviewing them for my podcast. I love speaking at lawyer conferences, the women's conference we met at, right? I think that so many women hide or feel like they have to hide the fact that they're a mom, that somehow they'll be seen as less than, that they won't seem as committed.
Because we are, but it doesn't mean it's true.
Well, I
Like,
think
that is how people see us, though.
that is how people see us.
Yeah.
And I think it's still, parenthood is still seen as a weakness in the practice of law, but it is what it is. We can't change how other people see us, but those are not our people, right? I was telling you a story about how I brought my fourth baby to law conferences when he was tiny because that was what I needed to do to be able to go. And did I get side eye from some older people who think that this is not what you should be doing at a lawyer conference? Sure. Those are not my people. There were a whole host of people who were thrilled to see baby James, who wanted to hold him, who wanted to, it just, he brought a sense of joy. Those are my people. And the lawyers that are referring me cases, many of them are also lawyer moms. Right? So some are men, and that's fine. I'll take a great case from whatever lawyer would like to refer it, and I will take care of their client. But the people that are for me are for me. They will see my motherhood as an asset that I will bring a sense of love and joy and compassion in a very professional way, but in a way that my clients will feel seen and heard. That I know I didn't get to that level as younger Megan, but as lawyer mom Megan, this version of me, I'm bringing my best self to my cases.
And I love that you're aware enough of the shift and the benefits it's had that you can articulate it. I think what I've observed is that a lot of, because I work with a lot of female attorneys that are moms, they don't see this in themselves. Like, I see it because I see it in me. I'm aware that I call myself the automation queen because I'm like, if anybody's going to figure out easier way to do this with less flaws, it's going to be a mother of five because I don't have time.
That's it.
For nonsense, right? So like, I see it in me, but like, I think a lot of women don't see, they just see the things that motherhood subtracts or changes, but they don't see the gain sometimes. And I love that you pointed out that awareness that you have, that emotionally the gain for you, if I understood it correctly, the biggest gain for you was that you were able to compartmentalize and separate yourself, like still be fully present and connected with the needs of your clients, but then still be fully you and healthy and happy and not let it bleed into like your everything. And that's beautiful because a lot of people don't know how to do that.
And it takes practice. It's not like a light switch I turned off or on one day. Right. Like it's intentional practice. I'm really big on thought work. I've worked with life coaches. I've done all the woo-woo things that I would never have done. You go back, 15 years, that version of me would have looked and gone, what is that? But it's true. There are tools, whether it's in books or going to lectures or having a life coach or a therapist or all of the above. But there are tools that I have found where I've gotten really clear on what matters.
Right.
And I've stopped caring about what other people think of me. My first life coach had the best line, and I will always be grateful. Other people's opinions of you are none of your business, Megan. She said that over and over as I was grappling with, before I launched Mom Life and Law, I was really worried. What if the judges I appear in front of listen to this? What if my opposing counsel sees that I have this podcast? And she helped me to see, who cares?
Can you say it again for the people in the back? Because that's literally a common theme for marketers, where we have to remind lawyers, like, it's okay to be you. It's okay to be a little fun.
Better. It's so much better. I am not your average trial lawyer. I mean, even though I think on the plaintiff side we are a little bit more creative and loud and creative, there still is a subset of our group that like stays very straight-laced and doesn't like to
because you're trained to be that way, because everything
has a legal fun out of us.
Yes.
But my clients, like the last case I signed up, and I'm co-counseling. I co-counsel all across the country. So this is in another state. And the lawyers that brought me on, they asked about my process. And I said, well, the first thing is the clients have to sign off on this. And they have to feel comfortable with me. I know what I bring to the table. I'm confident I'm going to bring value to your case, to your clients. We're going to get justice. We're going to get answers. But they have to, of course, be okay with me joining this case.
Of course.
And one of the daughters said that she had researched me and the fact that on my law firm website, I have pictures of me with my kids. She was like, I knew I wanted to work with you before I even met you.
Wow.
That, I get goosebumps thinking about it. It was a moment for me where I went, being myself, it's working.
Mm.
You know, at any time we all doubt ourselves, especially when you go into business on your own.
Right.
You know, it's so easy to have doubts, but there's nothing wrong with being true to your values and yourself. And if I were to try to hide the fact that I was a mom, I wouldn't be showing up as my whole self. That's a huge part of who I am. It's something I'm really proud of.
Right.
And so when I put on my about Megan section on my website, I put that I'm a mom of 4. I put pictures. I don't post my kids' faces online, but you'll see, you know, from profile or the back, you know, but they're part of my life. And everything we've been talking about, I'm a better lawyer because I'm a mom. Why wouldn't I share about them? And that has allowed me to connect with clients in a real human way because they're sharing some of their worst experiences in life about losing their parents. And that parent-child relationship is such the forefront of my cases. And so being a parent is, in a way, like they realize I'm going to be able to tap into that. And I care about that too. And, you know, what they're worried about what their mom or their dad thought as they were alone, you know, because often in these cases, the children find out later that mom or dad was suffering alone.
And it's devastating.
And it's devastating. And they feel guilty. They wish they could have been there. They would have been there had they known. And to be able to, you know, you kind of go into a parent role sometimes, even with, you know, my clients are older than me. That's okay.
Right. You're human. Yeah.
You're human. And so it's a long way to say being true to who you are, if that is, you know, being a parent or something else that you're passionate about, when you're clear on your core values and you finally let the noise just dissipate, that, okay, so people are going to judge you. Who cares?
Yeah.
You know, your people will find you if you show up authentically.
Yeah. I love that. I could talk to you forever. And I'm going to ask you to share how people can get in touch with you. But first, there's a very important question that I ask every single guest. My podcast is called Care Sandwich. So what is your favorite sandwich? We have to know.
Peanut butter. Straight peanut butter. Nothing else.
No jelly?
No jelly.
Because you're sweet enough already. Just peanut butter sandwich.
Peanut butter sandwich. Okay. It's like my go-to comfort food.
Okay.
I don't eat a lot of sandwiches. My husband says I'm like un-American because I don't really like sandwiches.
My God. That's funny.
So, you know, you go to the deli, I'm like, oh, I don't know what to order. But like at home, because, you know, I've got 4 kids, so we've got peanut butter for days.
Yeah.
So sometimes I'll go if I'm like stressed or I'm staying up late prepping for a deposition or something, I'll make myself.
Another reason to call you because you're cool. You love peanut butter. I mean,
you asked for the truth. That's the truth.
Listen, anywhere around the country, people can refer you cases.
Yes.
Attorneys can refer you. How do they get in touch with you?
Yep. So
walk us through that.
My website is Whiteside Legal. All of my contact information is there. www.whitesidelegal.com. You can do a submission form straight on the website. Make it easy. You can call me. Find me on social media. Is at Mom Life and Law is where I'm the most active. That's the fun. That's the, you know, mom side, the podcast side. But I you preach to your clients. It's like the people want to get to know you, and that's where you're really going to see me.
Yes. Yeah, I'm a big believer in marketing strategy, of course. Like, you need to communicate with people in a way that they are going to understand, but you have to balance that with who are you? How do you talk? How do you sound? How do you express yourself? So absolutely love, love, love. Could talk to you for days. So thank you so much for joining. Thank you all for tuning in to this very special episode with a very special guest. And remember that caring starts with caring for yourself so you can care with others. Care for others. We'll catch you in the next episode. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Care Sandwich. Remember, the way we care for our clients, our teams, and ourselves can make all the difference in our success. Until next time, keep caring, keep growing, and I'll see you on the next episode of Care Sandwich.